Hello and welcome to another episode of Esha's Kitchen. In today's adventure, we're going to be making a smoked brisket mac and cheese. And for this one, we will actually be finishing on the smoker. So that way we can use up some of my leftover brisket that I have and make some good old-fashioned mac and cheese. So first thing you want to do is put 2 tablespoons of butter in your pan. Get that good and melted. And we're going to pull out the whisk because we're also going to be adding some flour to this as well. Alright, you're going to want to put 2 tablespoons of flour in here. And you want to make sure that it's well rounded. So there's 1. And there's 2. And you want to whisk that together. Let's get that started here. Whisk that up. Get it good mixed. And then what we want to do is turn down the heat just a little bit, because what we're going to do next is actually mix in some milk. So that way we can make our cheese sauce. So I've got 2 cups of whole milk. And you want to slowly do this because you don't really want it to get too hot, because you don't want it to curdle. So let me add some more. There we go. And then you also want to add some heavy cream to this as well, so you can start getting all that mixed together. So you want 1/2 cup of heavy cream. If you like, you can add a little bit more. That's your preference. And you want to get it nice and smooth and thick. And we've already cooked up the noodles, so we're just going to be adding those at the end. Turn this back up just a little bit there, so that way it can start thickening up. And if you need to, you could add some more flour to it to help thicken it up. That way it's not too runny. And the next thing we want to add is our cheese, or our cheeses. Give it a little bit more here. Make sure it's all broken up. Alright, what I'm going to do, you want to add about 1 cup of Velveeta cubed. So I've already cubed mine up and cut it up. So let me go ahead and just pour that in there so that way it can start melting. You also want to add some cheddar, and I'm going to use Gouda, but you can use Monterey Jack as well. But I'll add those when this actually starts melting a little bit more. Turn this up to medium high so that way we can get it melting down. Now you don't want to use all of your shredded cheese as the cheese sauce, so that way you can actually put some cheese on top when you put it in the smoker. But I did put all the Velveeta cheese in, so that way it gets good and creamy. Alright, now that we got the Velveeta melted down, let's put in our cheddar and our Gouda. Like I said, we're not going to put it all in because we do want to put some on top. And you want to do about a cup of both, of the cheddar and the Gouda. So that way you're putting in about 3 cups of cheese all together. And this one won't take very long to melt down. Velveeta chunks take the longest because, well, they're chunks. So at this point, now is when you want to add your brisket. And you can also add your garlic powder and some smoked paprika with some salt and pepper. So let's go ahead and do that real quick before we put in the brisket. And it's half a tablespoon of garlic powder, half a tablespoon of smoked paprika, and salt and pepper is to your taste. So we'll add that in here in a second. Get that good and stirred in. And we're going to use some sea salt. And get some peppercorn medley for the pepper. And like I said, just use as much as you like, or if you don't want any of it, skip it. And the brisket has some seasoning on it as well, so we already have some seasoning with the brisket. Alright. Get that good and mixed in. And then for your brisket, you're going to do about 2 cups worth of chopped brisket. So let me go ahead and add that in here real quick. That way we can get all that mixed in, get it with the cheese. And if you have more, by all means, add extra. You just want to get it good and mixed in. I actually do have some more I can add. So I want to see how much it actually was before I added any extra. So think we might add just a smidge more. So let me do that. I'm gonna add a whole bunch because I don't want it to completely overpower, you know, the mac and cheese, but it will give it a smoky barbecue flavor as well, since it was seasoned when we cooked the brisket. All right, now that we got it good and mixed together, get all the brisket chunks out of the whisk. Because, you know, they like to stay. There we go. Alright, now what we're going to do is turn this off. We're going to get it prepped for the smoker, and what we're going to do with that is we're actually going to add we're going to do some Velveeta shells, and we're going to put those in a pan. So let me do that and I'll be right back. Alright, for this part, we put the shells into a 13 by 9 tinfoil pan. And like I said, we're just going to pour this over. That way it mixes together. Make sure we get it all in there. And then we'll stir it up here in a second. Hopefully the pan is not too small. I do have a tendency to put in more cheese than needed, but looks like we're pretty good. All right. So let's mix it in so that way the cheese gets in with all of this. Smells really, really good, especially with the brisket. All right. So what we're going to do to help give it just a little bit more of a barbecue flavor is I am going to sprinkle it with some barbecue sauce. Or not barbecue sauce, I'm sorry. Barbecue seasoning. And I'm going to use some Meat Church Gospel. It's an all-purpose rub. I put this on my ribs and a few other things. It just gives it just a little bit extra of a kick. And then what we'll do is the extra cheese that we had, put that on top too, so that way it gets good and, you know, bubbly. And if we need to, we can always add some more cheese to this to make sure we coat the whole top. All right, so we've finished putting the cheese on top of the mac and cheese. We've now put it inside of the Pit Boss smoker. I have the Pit Boss running at 250 degrees. You can set it at 225, 250, depending what you like. We're doing some hickory pellets on it. And you're going to do this for about 30 minutes. So stand by as we come back and check it in about 15. Alright, it's been about 15 minutes or so. Give it a quick once over. Looks like it's pretty much done because I do have it cranked to 250 instead of 225, so it is cooking a little bit faster. But I think we're going to pull it. And then what you do is you let it rest for about 10 minutes and then you're good to go. So thanks for watching this with me. Stay tuned for the next one. See you then.